Well, it's been a huge day for world football here in Qatar, where the draw for this year's World Cup has taken place. We have correspondents with reaction from around the world. Nicholas Huck is in Dakar in Senegal. Paul Rees is in Paris in France. Teresa Beau is in Buenos Aires. And, of course, we'll have the latest from here in Doha with Peter Stemmet. But first, Gemma Nash has all of the details of the draw.
Yes, the 8 groups for Qatar 2022 have been drawn, so let's take a closer look. I'll start with Group A. Hosts and debutants Qatar will open the World Cup against Ecuador. They also have 3-time runners-up Netherlands and African champions Senegal. England's opening game in Group B is against Iran. That'll be the first time they've played each other. Lionel Messi's Argentina in Group C. Defending champions France, well, they're going to be pretty happy with their draw, aren't they? They're in Group D with Denmark, Tunisia, and the playoff winner between South America and Asia. Now, at any World Cup, there is always a standout group, and for this tournament, well, you'd have to say it is Group E, with 2010 champions Spain drawn with 4-time winners Germany. Belgium are in Group F, and the tournament's most successful side, Brazil, are in Group G with Serbia, Switzerland and Cameroon. And in Group H, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal and Uruguay will be the favourites to progress. So just the 3 playoff places still to be decided then, and then attention will turn to the big kick-off November 21st at Al Bayt Stadium here in Qatar.
All right, let's speak now live to Peter Stemmet. He was at the draw, so the draw is done. Teams are grouped. What are the matches to look out for, Peter?
Good evening, Sammy. And I think Gemma actually hit the nail on the head there. Spain versus Germany. I think that's the blockbuster fixture of the 2022 World Cup. You've got Spain, who've won the World Cup before. They're also 2-time European champions. And then you've got Germany, who have won the tournament 4 times. However, the Germans haven't really been in the best of form in recent times. They won the World Cup in 2014, but then they bombed out of the most recent tournament, 2018 in Russia. And they didn't have a very good European championships last year either, when they lost in the last 16 to England. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about England, not them themselves, but the group that they find themselves in. You talk about a politically charged fixture. I don't think it's going to get any bigger than the United States of America versus Iran. Now, these 2 teams have actually played each other before. There's a little bit of history as far as the World Cup goes between these 2 sides. France, 98. Iran won that match 2-0. And I'm happy to tell you that it was played in very good spirits. The teams were promoting peace after the fixture. And hopefully that'll be something that we'll see again in 2022.
And we are in Doha, so we've got to ask, that grouping for the host nation, it looks pretty tough. What's the feeling there?
Yeah, it's not as easy as maybe they would have liked, but look, it is what it is. And if you're going to progress at the World Cup, you've got to beat some high-quality teams along the way. And Qatar have got Ecuador for company in their group. That'll be the opening match of the entire tournament. And you know what? The Ecuadorians, what do we know about them? They finished 3rd in South American qualifying, but they usually only go as far as the last 16. Sometimes they lose in the group stage. That's their history. So Qatar will be looking at that. But then you talk about it not being easy. Well, we've got Senegal in that group. Senegal are the most recent African champions. They won the AFCON approximately 2 months ago. And then you also have the Netherlands, who are in that group. Now, you might look at that and say, gee whiz, the Dutch, that's going to be really, really tough. But if you look at their recent history, this is not the Netherlands of 1974, 1978 or 2010, where they got to the final. This is the Netherlands that didn't qualify for the most recent World Cup, 2018 in Russia. And they didn't qualify for the last 2 European championships either. So who knows what to expect there.
All right. Great stuff there. Thanks, Peter. Let's continue this now and bring in Teresa Beau. She joins us live from Buenos Aires. There must be a buzz there. And this could be what? Lionel Messi's last World Cup. People planning on heading over to Qatar for that one?
Let me tell you that for the past 2 hours, we've been watching television, radio station, website. Everyone is talking about the World Cup and the possibility of these being Lionel Messi's last World Cup. Argentines are in love with the Argentinian team. They're in love with Lionel Messi. They're in love with the coach. So lots of people here are very, very excited about the World Cup in Qatar. Well, being able to travel, this is a big question. Argentina is in the middle of a big crisis. There's a soaring inflation rate. It's difficult for Argentines to buy US dollars to be able to travel, and the flight to Qatar is 17 hours. So that's going to make it a bit difficult for most Argentines. However, it is important to know that among the top 10 countries who bought tickets, well, Argentinians are among them. So it is expected that many are going to make it all the way to Qatar.
All right, thanks so much, Teresa Bow. We got to talk about Paris, of course. Paul Rees is there and joins us live from there. So, Paul, you know, retaining their title, they think they can do it now that it's clear who they're up against, at least in the group.
Well, I think, Sammy, when French fans will have seen the teams they're up against in those groups, they'd have thought, well, let's say the word, that it would be quite an easy passage through to the knockouts. Denmark, perhaps the most dangerous team, but France have got a very good record against them. None of the teams who could still qualify, Australia, Peru, or the United Arab Emirates, with all respect to them, should pose many problems to a team of such great power as France, who have perhaps the best player in the world, succeeding Lionel Messi, who you mentioned earlier, in Kylian Mbappe, and another striker who just never gets old, Karim Benzema. But the other team in the group, Tunisia, is the one that L'Equipe, the national sports newspaper here, picked out as the most favourable team that France could possibly have faced in their group. And that's the warning sign, I think, because last year France, in the last 16 of the European Championships, faced Switzerland, went 3-1 up and ended up losing and being knocked out of the European Championships. The consensus was they got too comfortable, so I think that was a wake-up call for them, and they'll be on their toes as they try and retain their World Cup title in Qatar.
All right, thanks so much, Paul. Let's go over now to Nicholas Huck. He's live for us in Dakar. So how confident is Senegal? You know, we've seen Africans do really well in European leagues and teams, but African teams don't always do so well in World Cups, right?
Yeah, but at least for now, there's an air here, or a sense that anything is possible, especially for Senegal. Of course, there's Cameroon, Tunisia, Morocco, and Ghana. All of them have their chances. Senegal just won the African Cups of Nations. And just look here right now. Air of celebration before the World Cup started. Why? Because Senegal has been in football for a number of years, and it starts right here. People, what are they doing? They're playing football. It's more than a national sport and passion here, and this is on the ground here.
All right, really sorry there. We're obviously having a few audio glitches there. Too bad. We'll try and come back to Nicholas Huck. Jodie Vance has more now from Vancouver, where the national team recently qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 36 years.
The excitement surrounding soccer in Canada just continues to grow. We are with soccer analyst Scott Rintoul. And Scott, the Canadian women's national team has brought so much to Canadian fans, and now we're on this epic journey to Qatar 2022. What is at the center of that, in your view?
Well, there's a lot of things, and you're right. This country has been following our women for the past 2 decades with one of the greatest, if not the greatest, female footballer ever born onto this planet, Christine Sinclair, leading the way to that gold medal last summer. But on the heels of that, John Herdman moved from the women's side to the men's side, which was seen as a chance by him at the time and a chance by the national men's program. And he created belief, he created momentum and fulfillment within this group. He got players to come play for this country that in the past probably would have chosen a different path and may have tried to play for another nation. But this side is very representative of what Canada is. It's a very diverse side. It's a deep side. It is the most talented group we have ever seen in our country's history, and it is off to a World Cup for the first time in 36 years.
Let's speak about some of those players and the depth and diversity that we find there. And it begins with one who wasn't even on the pitch when this team qualified.
You're right. Alphonso Davies, in world football terms, is a household name. He is one of the best left backs on the planet, and he hasn't even been present with Canada for the past 6 matches, and yet Canada won 4 of those matches in leading its way to the top of the table in CONCACAF qualifying. Kyle Larin led CONCACAF in goal scoring. The likes of Jonathan David had massive moments. Tejan Buchanan is now a household name in Canada. Richie Larea. I can go on and on with the likes of Junior Hoylett. Milan Borjan is such a leader on the line, stopping everything that comes his way. Seemingly, Canada only conceded 1 goal, no more, in any of the matches during the course of these 14 leading to Qatar 2022. So you're right, it's a very deep side, it's a fun side, and it's a side that plays with joy, and we haven't really seen that in Canada's history on the pitch.
Now, Kimberly Halkett has been following the draw with Polish fans in Warsaw.
Polish fans pretty excited about Group C because there is a lot of optimism that they will be able to make it to the second round in this group. There is a feeling that if they can achieve that the match between Poland and Argentina is one that will be worth watching. This will be a match between 2 of the world's star strikers, Messi as well as Lewandowski. And it is Lewandowski that allowed Poland to get to this draw and that they believe will allow them to propel even further. Given the fact that the politics right now with Russia's invasion of Ukraine on Poland's doorstep, this is a welcome respite from some of the headlines and politics that exist in Poland right now. A lot of high hopes in Poland riding on Lewandowski's number 9.
All right, joining me now here in the studio is Asha Komugisha, an African football journalist. Lovely to have you here with us. So the groupings have come together. What have they served up for African teams, do you reckon?
Well, when you look at Senegal, I think they got a fair deal. I mean, you have Qatar, you have Netherlands. I feel that that is a group that they can come out of. Tunisia, on the other hand, is going to be very tough for them, and Morocco. But these are also the North African teams which have already acclimatized themselves with playing here in Qatar. They were here at the FIFA Arab World Cup in December. And so they have also a good number of fans that live here in Qatar. For Ghana, it's going to be very interesting. They have Uruguay, Luis Suarez, if he makes it to the team. That would be very interesting if you go back to what happened in 2010 with the handball and then the missed opportunity, obviously, for Samoa Gyan. He's since retired, from the team. He's no longer part of the selection, but that should be interesting. For Cameroon, I think that Rigobert Song, he has a lot of experience playing at the World Cup as well. He's now the coach. Samuel Eto'o is the federation president. I think they'll go so much into the preparations and do a good job.
So it sounds like the hopes for Africa are still on Senegal then, right? That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, when you look at, the teams on paper, Senegal have, top players that are doing an incredible job in their teams in the top leagues across the world. You have Edouard Mendy with Chelsea, Sadio Mane, you have Kalidou Koulibaly at Napoli doing a great job. And that sort of experience also with the manager, Aliou Cissé. He's been together with these players since 2015. That, I think, for them was...
plenty of reason to be optimistic. Mm-hmm. What are the chances of African teams making it to the second round, unlike what happened in the last World Cup?
There is a small chance, especially for...
It's only a small one, you think?
Yeah, it is a small one, but that small one is with Senegal. So Senegal, for me, Cameroon, yes, for that, there's a chance.
That's
for Tunisia,
to keep your eye on, is it?
Mm-hmm. For Tunisia, it's going to be very tough.
Do you think African champion Senegal have the best chance to make it right through... I mean, how far, in other words, do you think we can...
I think they could go to the quarterfinals.
OK, let's hope them, wish them well, yeah? Do you think African teams might find it perhaps easier to deal with some of the conditions in Doha? Is there, than some of the other teams? Is there any reason to,
Yeah, I mean, Tunisia and Morocco have fans here already, but also it's very easy for them to fly from North Africa. Obviously, Qatar Airways also has direct flights coming in here, but also the weather. The weather is kind of like what we have back home in sub-Saharan Africa. It's about 24, 23, 22 degrees centigrade, in that part of the year. So it should be very easy for them. And also it's going to be easy for the African teams because they're used to breaking the season to go and play at the Africa Cup of Nations.
Right. So, all right, let's see. It's going to be interesting for Africa, isn't it, watching this? I'm excited. Thanks so much for coming in and talking to us, Asha.
Thank you so much for having me.